call to the order today's March 4th, 2024 meeting of the Transportation, Mobility, and Infrastructure Commission. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Chair Zimmer, Vice Chair Nguyen, Commissioner Banks, Commissioner Kashkauli, Commissioner McCredden, Commissioner Rohr, Commissioner Zuniga, and Commissioner Hess.
Present. Let's start out today's meeting with a land acknowledgement. We would like to acknowledge that the land on which we work and live is the original homelands of the indigenous people of West Sacramento, who have stewarded this land throughout the generation. We acknowledge and then thank these original inhabitants who have occupied, maintained, and secured this place, and who still exist. Would like to invite everyone to stand to the Pledge of Allegiance. We're going to move to item number 1, presentations by the public on matters that are not on the agenda. Just for the information, the Commission is prohibited by state law from discussing or taking any actions on items brought up by the public in item number 1, but it provides an important opportunity for public engagement. Madam Clerk, are there any requests to speak under item number 1?
Yes, we have one request to speak by Joanne Ronning.
I don't know. Is it on? Oh, yeah,
Yes,
I can
it is
tell. Okay. Thank you for, I've been anxious to present this to somebody, and my daughter put me in touch with finding out about this meeting. So my name is Joanne Ronning. I live at the corner of 5th Street and E in West Sac. The actual address is Harriet Lane. It's in Townhouse. I moved here 7 months ago from Wisconsin, and I was warned by the previous occupant that that was a very busy intersection, lots of car crashes, lots of swearing, lots of anyway, I found out that's true, and I'm very, very concerned that somebody's gonna get killed. I talked to neighbors, and they've told me stories, but so the basic concern is cars speed. The speed limit is 35. I would say an average speed is 50, and sometimes it's like being on the Indianapolis 500. I mean, people just, West Sacramento, I will compliment you. You have beautiful crosswalk markings, bike paths painted green. It's awesome, but it seems like, what's the point when they are totally ignored, totally. In the 7 months I've lived there, I would say I go almost daily to do the river walk, so I cross there all the time. And I've counted, in 7 months, only 4 times cars have stopped seeing me in the crosswalk waiting to cross. To me, that's pretty significant. The family right across the street on the opposite corner has just moved last weekend. They lived there 2.5 years, and that is the reason they moved. They're just sick and tired of it. She told me there's crashes all the time, or often anyway, and one elderly man on his scooter was hit. I don't know when that happened, but she said he was laying on the street pretty significantly injured, and the people that hit him got out and were intending to steal his scooter, but I think witnesses around put a stop to that. But just today, I finally met the man she told me to talk to the man on the corner of F. It's directly down the street from me. His name is Edward Brooks, 501 F Street. He told me I could tell you that. He's happy I came. he must count like me. He said in the past year, there's been 30 crashes at his intersection, just a block from mine. Today I spoke to a man named Steve Rosen, who advised me to send my pictures and video of, I'll explain what I took. I have, I think, pretty good evidence for ideas for what we can do at that intersection to slow people down. So it's just.
Thank you for your comments.
Oh, am I
think
done
we-
already?
Yes.
Oh, no.
But I really appreciate really for you taking the courage to coming up and speaking to us.
Wow. Okay.
How do we, this is new to me too, so how do we go about this? Because I think we would like to encourage you to take the right action. And so could you please help me?
Sure. There's, so although we are barred from state law to discuss this matter, since it is not agendized, but if you turn to me and you're asking me the status of this, the Capital Projects Department has already included this intersection in the capital improvement program. It will be investigated under that project. It's just a matter of staff having the availability to start doing work on that. So my understanding
Actually,
is
Steve told me it's actually the intersection of F where that's been approved, but he said it probably wouldn't actually be installed till 2025.
that's correct, because there are a number of studies that have to be done. So
Right.
just for the commission's knowledge and for the public knowledge. So we are, by law, California law, we can't just go in and put in a signal. We
Right.
have to actually do all the studies, the engineering studies that are related to that.
Yeah.
So that is in the works.
Okay,
We are
I'm
looking
glad
at
to hear that.
So thanks
Yeah.
again. Thanks again.
Sure.
We
Yeah,
really can't discuss it
I
further.
wish I could send a specific
right.
points to anybody. You
Um,
can give my name, a name to me, because I have 5 very good recommendations, suggestions
Yeah,
for
again,
how to
we
slow
appreciate
traffic.
your stepping up, but I believe we need to move on. We are not allowed to discuss this further.
Mr. Chair, if there are requests for submitting any kind of information or complaints, the Capital Projects Department can handle that, since they are the ones doing that project, and the clerk can provide the phone number for Capital Project for the public.
Thank you. So with that, I would like to close item number 1 and move to item number 2. Are there any commissioners that wish to disclose any ex-party communications at this time? If none, we'll close item number 1 and move to item number 3. Item number 3 is a presentation by the Sacramento Regional Transit District on the downtown riverfront streetcar light rail extension project, which will be presented by Mr. Anthony Adams.
Well, thank you so much. Good evening. Thank you for having me here today. My name is Anthony Adams. I'm the Director of Planning for Sacramento Regional Transit. Good evening. Give me just a minute to get this on the right spot. All right. I'm here to discuss the Sacramento Downtown Riverfront Streetcar Project. Biggest thing I wanted to spell, this is not a trolley project. This is a streetcar project. In fact, it's really like a light rail extension. That's the way we should be thinking about this. And if you look at the lovely car that we have up on the screen right now, that's the Siemens S700. That's the new low-floor vehicle that we will be rolling out in summer. So it'll have the latest, greatest technology whenever it hits the streets. A little bit of background. This is not a new project. You might have heard about this before. It was even a campaign back in 2016 or 2017 said, "I love the streetcar." Well, had buttons and stuff. So way back in 2016, we did receive an award from the state and from the feds. Nearly $80 million for this project. Went out to bid. It was fully designed. The bids came back 80% high. 80% high. I don't know if you guys have ever done any construction projects. If you ever get a bid that's 80% high, you need to fire that cost estimator. And that's basically what we did. We had to go back to the drawing board. So back in 2019, we looked at the alignment, we simplified the alignment, and in 2022, we approved the new alignment. So what does that new alignment look like? All right, so this map's a little confusing. not going to spend too much time on it. But if you look at the blue dotted line with a little orange stars in it, that was the old alignment. You see how expansive it is? All the way to West Sacramento, goes down a little branch in West Sacramento, through the city of Sacramento, and then made a loop in Central, right near the Capitol as well. About 4.2 miles. This is the new alignment. 1.2 miles. What we did, we actually are utilizing existing tracks as well as extending it into West Sacramento. So you get the bonus of having the existing system as well as the new track that we're going to be building. So this new alignment will begin at Sutter Health Park. It's going to cross the Tower Street Bridge, make a right on 3rd Street, a left on N, and then attach into our existing system on 7th and 8th Street. It will eventually end at Sac Valley Station. Sac Valley Station is the regional mobility hub. It is where Amtrak comes in, and you can take that to San Jose, San Francisco, or even up into Roseville. This is a side-by-side comparison of the two projects. You can see that the scope is greatly reduced. Number of platforms went from 23 new to just 4 new. And the N-terminus now goes to Sacramento Valley Station. Also, the schedule is every 15 minutes, just like our light rail system. So it is a high-quality transit connection. So if any of those developers out in the audience are curious about how this is going to make you eligible for federal and state affordable housing funding, it is a high-quality transit connection. So I mentioned that it was going to be linking up to Sac Valley Station. Why is this significant? What is significant about Sac Valley Station? It is the region's mobility hub. Not only does Amtrak go there right now, but it is the location of future connections as well. It's going to be the location of a bus mobility center. It'll be a regional bus mobility center. So the buses that come from Roseville, the ones that come from Galt, they'll be able to come to SVS and make that connection. We're going to be putting our new light rail station there as well. It is funded $25 million. A new SVS loop is going in there, which will connect the blue line and the green line together, as well as the green line extension, which we are underway as well. So not only can you use this light rail to get to Sac Valley Station, but SAC-RT has one of the largest microtransit systems in the nation with SmartRide. We actually use the same provider as West Sacramento Via. So there's microtransit at each end, so you could take microtransit to light rail, to the streetcar, get to SVS, and then take microtransit or fixed route transit to where you need to go. I really like this picture. It's a little old. I apologize for the age of it. You can look south of Sutter Health Park. There is some development there that isn't shown in the picture. But I think this picture shows how much empty land there is and was and how this is going to be a catalyst for development. Now, if you don't have the option to ride light rail, you are going to get in a vehicle. You don't really have an option. So we need to make sure that we have light rail there before the housing comes so people have a transit-first mentality about this development. So these areas, I know they were empty plots here. What is planned to go here? Actually quite a bit. Nearly 10,000 dwelling units in the rail yards up in Sacramento, 4 million square foot of commercial and also some hotel as well. The Bridge District here in West Sacramento, over 5,000 dwelling units are what's called for. Obviously, a few of those have been built already, and also 7.3 million commercial square feet. These two developments are two of the largest infill developments in the nation, and they're at each end of this streetcar project. So a huge catalyst and opportunity for development. And really, this streetcar project is what's seen as the first phase of fixed route transit expanding into West Sacramento. A little very light up here, but you can see that the dark purple is the planned streetcar. The light blue, this little loop right here, is really the second phase. The city's doing a study right now to see if they can do a new alignment of the light rail right there. I think they're talking to some developers about it too. And there's one little loop right here. Going further down, there is a city-owned rail spur. The red is UP-owned, and then the dark purple is city-owned. So my understanding is the city is in talks with Union Pacific to possibly use those tracks. Maybe at some point they might abandon those tracks, and if so, the city can take them on. And this could be a light rail extension going down to Southport, which a lot of population there. Also, I know it gets pretty backed up on that one bridge that crosses over there. So you kind of need like a lifeline release valve as well. So I said before, this is a catalyst for development. I mentioned those individual projects, the rail yards and the Bridge District. These are also apartments. 50 projects within a half mile of the streetcar project listed there. Not only does it have local support, but it also has federal support as well. You might be familiar with Congresswoman Matsui. She's the one who helped get us that Small Starts award back in 2016, $50 million. She also is a great booster of it, and we recently applied for $16 million in raise, and it is Doris Matsui's #1 project for a raise, so we're hoping to get a little bit of money, a little more federal leveraging out of the project as well. So what's the schedule? Now remember, this started back in 2014, so I'm happy with the progress we've made since I started on the project. I became the project manager in March or so of 2023. What we have to do is we have to update the environmental document. We already have an adopted NEPA document. We know what all the impacts are going to be. In fact, the impacts are going to be less than they were before because it's a smaller alignment. So we're doing something called a NEPA revalidation. We're almost through with that now. We're working with the tribes, and we have to do some historic preservation negotiations. But we're hoping to wrap this up in just summer or late summer of 2024. We're actually doing concurrent design right now. We're actually about 40% design. We're hoping to wrap design up hopefully at the end of this year as well. And we will be submitting in August of this year for Small Starts. That is our goal, to get in the Small Starts program, to ask for the remaining $15 million that we have in the shortfall, and to really get this project going and hopefully get it construction started in mid-2027. I'm not going to spend a bunch of time on this, just to say that we are $30 million short still. That's that raise in additional Small Starts. The $30 million, that was an award from TRCP, TIRCP, from the state. They gave us that award for a 4-mile program, a 4-mile the track. We're going to build one. So they might decrease that award. We are going to be submitting really soon. We have the GHG calculations wrapping up now. We're going to resubmit to the state. Hopefully they give us as much as they can. But whatever they decrease, that will increase the shortfall that we have right now. The current shortfall is $30 million. And we just applied for $16 million in raise. We are requesting $10 million in SB 125 funds. That's some supplemental funds that the state has for transit. And the final $4 million we're going to be asking for SACOG. Okay, so I said that we've been doing some work. This is where you actually get down to the details. We have an alignment. We have some cross sections. We're not going to go into detail on this specifically. We're actually going to zoom in to 4 different zones. Okay, so first zone, starting from the west. Starting here at Sutter Health Park. We will have a station right across at, was this Riverton Street? On the south side, and then we're going to cross over to the center part of the roadway. Going across Tower Bridge, we're going to be reducing the travel lanes from 4 to 2 and having this streetcar in the center. It'll be one of only 3 streetcars in the entire nation on a movable bridge. We're going to see how Caltrans likes that. They already gave us the okay before, but there's new people. This is the alignment in Sacramento, turning down 3rd Street. If you look on the very left side of this, it's like white. That's because there's going to be a development that's there. We've already coordinated with the city to make sure they have ingress and egress issues worked out. You can see on 3rd Street and on N Street, there is a new Class 4 cycle track that's being proposed as well that we are proposing to include in this project. And then as I said before, it links up on 7th and 8th Street with our existing light rail. All right, so let's focus in just a little bit on the cross sections. What is it supposed to look like? So Tower Gateway, this is the very west end at Sutter Health Park, and this is the station in the bottom here. So we did have a request to put the bike lane on the outside of the transit stop. So we did accommodate that in our layout. Similar to this. This is going across the Tower Bridge Gateway. As you can see, the streetcar is going to be in the center. It will still add bike lanes as well, 7-foot bike lanes. So right now, the bikes have to share that path with the walkers across the bridge. It's not very nice, actually, especially if you're walking your dog. We're going to separate the modes as much as we can. And as I stated on N Street, we are going to be having a cycle track there. It's going to be kind of sharing the sidewalk a little bit. We're going to take some of the sidewalk, but we're going to try to have it at a different grade. We talked to some folks at the Mobility Advisory Committee, some of the folks who are mobility challenged, and they want to make sure that they don't accidentally walk into the bike lane if they're going into the station. So we want to make sure that it's at a different gradient, and we have some visual aids to make sure that there's no accidents there. N Street will continue to be one way. They had proposed in the Central City Specific Plan to possibly make it two-way. That I think is old news, and it'll be one way, so we're gonna have a one-way cycle track. You know, in the spirit of complete streets, holistic mobility, we wanna make sure that we're not only solving the transit issue, but making sure that people can access transit safely. So not only are we including bicycle improvements, but pedestrian safety improvements at each of these intersections. And as the speaker before me stated, West Sacramento has some beautiful crossings. It is fantastic. I actually have to commend you. I'm a transportation engineer as well. Not so much in Sacramento. You go along N Street, you go along 3rd Street, they don't even have zebra crossings. So we are going to be improving all of those, making sure that they have safety elements associated with them. And I will open the floor to any questions, comments, or concerns.
Are there any questions from the commission?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
According to
Yeah, and this schedule, like when I showed my boss this schedule, he's like, make it shorter. So there's a green area here. There's like address FTA comments, final review and approval. I think we have like 2+ years in there, like 2.5 years. FTA also said that was a little long. Our construction folks they've said before something's going to take a year and it took 2, and they don't like having that on their back. So this is very conservative. So this is almost like if things don't go right, it's going to be 2029. If things go right, it'll be a year earlier. Yeah. So we're hoping to start construction in 2026. Fingers crossed. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm running. Certainly. Yeah, it will follow the same schedule as SAC RT light rail. There actually has been, this isn't necessarily going to happen, but there has been a proposal to possibly make this the south extension of the Green Line. So maybe the Green Line would come to West Sacramento and then come up to where it is now, and then maybe eventually go to the airport. So if that's the case, it would certainly stick to the same schedule. But as we're planning it right now, it's 15 minutes to be coincided with our current light rail schedule.
Any other questions, comments from the commission? I actually would have one before we open it up.
Please.
So you mentioned the deficit of 30 million, if I understood it correctly.
Yep.
Could you, and I might have missed that, but could you address how you are going to plan to take care of that? And
Yeah,
how
so
might that
it's
develop?
$160 million total project cost, and we have about 130 right now. So we just applied, like last week, for $16 million for RAISE, the RAISE grant. We are putting in $10 million, a request to SACOG for SB 125, which is dedicated to transit. They can only go to transit funds, but SACOG does have to allocate it, so it's 26 of the 30. And then the other 4, if we get the other 2 awards, we're going to go to SACOG. They have regional federal funding rounds, and we're going to ask them for either state or federal funds to close that final $4 million gap. No one wants to be the first, but everyone wants to be the last dollar. So I don't have any problems if we get those other 2 awards. We'll get the last 4.
Yeah, it sounds like you at least have a plan forward.
Thank you.
With that, I would like to ask if there are questions or comments from the public. And with that, if there are no comments, then I would really thank you for the presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
We would move to item number 4, which is the consent agenda. And item number 4 is consideration of approval of the January 8th, 2024 Transportation, Mobility, and Infrastructure Commission. And we don't have a quorum. Then I would turn it over to Madam Clerk.
So because we don't have quorum, we will wait on approving these meeting minutes until the next meeting. Thank you.
So with that, we are going to move to item number 4. The next regular meeting of the Transportation, Mobility, and Infrastructure Commission will be May 6, 2024. We move to item number 5, staff reports. Mr. McCoy, are there any reports from city staff?
There we go. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I do have one report, and that's regarding Enterprise Boulevard corridor and the bridge project. The city is going to be moving forward soon with taking a contract to the city council with HDR Incorporated, who's actually going to be helping us with the engineering, design, and environmental clearance for that project. Just as a reminder, that is a bridge linking Southport with the other side of the Deepwater Ship Channel, and that's at Channel Drive and Enterprise. And the Enterprise corridor itself, we're going to be reviewing for putting in bicycle and pedestrian improvements, connectivity between Enterprise and West Capitol for bicycle connectivity, as well as pedestrian connectivity, and then looking at bridge crossing itself. And we're going to be following all of our required procedures under Caltrans guidelines for local assistance projects, and that's looking at various bridge types, various bridge heights, alignments, that sort of thing. So I just wanted the commission to be aware that that's going to be moving forward, and you'll be seeing some community participation and engagement associated with that project in the coming months.
Thank you very much. With that, we would like to move to item number 5C, this is the adjournment. Is there a motion from the commission to adjourn the meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
Everyone in favor, please say aye.
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 Thank you very much.
And I adjourn the meeting.